Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel today. So in today's video, I have to be quiet because a lot of people in my house are asleep, so I can't make that much noise. But I wanted to get a video out real quick before I went to bed. So in the past 2 weeks, I have been using Windows 7 along with my install of Mint. So if you've watched my channels before, I like to use older operating systems, even in the year 2024, because I refuse to run any modern version of Windows on my computer with all the spyware and God knows what goes on with your typical Windows 10 and Windows 11 install. So I dual boot Mint and Windows 7. So I do a lot of coding projects. So I have to have a OS that can have everything up to date. With Windows 7, you're able to have Python, things like that, but you're not able to have everything. Like, not all the dependencies can be modded, things like that. So I just need a modern OS just so I can, do coding, things like that, and also play games as well. So in the last few weeks, I have installed Mint on my PC. So just to give you guys a good specification of my hardware, like, how do you do about on this? Hang on, PC, computer maybe? No. There's a way to do it, hang on. Alright, here we go. So I had to do the system information. So as you can see right here, I have a Ryzen 9 3900, 3900X and a GTX 1080 Ti. So not the best hardware in the year 2024. But even with the combination of my hardware, Windows 10 and 11 still run poorly. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking about the newest builds. If I wanted to install Windows 10 1903 or 1809, or an older build like that when my hardware was in its prime, it runs those builds of Windows 10 flawlessly. But in that case, I'm still in the same spot I would be on Windows 7. But, like, I would argue that I would be at a greater risk of having bad security on older versions of Windows like that because programs don't support it. The latest version of Chrome does not work on older builds of 10, things like that. So we're able to mod web browsers to run on 7, so it would kind of be dumb to run those older versions of Windows, or older versions of Windows 10 I should say, because I would be at a bigger security risk than I would be running Windows 7 or 8.1. So I don't run older versions of Windows 10 because things just don't work on them as well as they would Windows 7. So modern Windows 10, as I stated like I stated beforehand, is that it just runs horribly on my computer because my hardware is not that great anymore, and they're putting all this bloat and shit, this AI that slows my computer down so much. I shit you not, on Windows 11, just having Wallpaper Engine open, having Firefox open, having a few things of coding work and school, things like that, it will hog up around 18 gigs of fucking RAM out of 32. Now, I understand that, as technology goes on, things are going to be more demanding, right? It's no different than the Pentium days, things like that, when technology just got so much more rampant and needed so much more resources. I understand eventually this hardware is pretty good right now. It can run almost anything I throw at it, but I guarantee you in 5 more years, this is going to be borderline office PC, like, type shit. Now, I would hope it's not, because my 1080 Ti can still play almost every game fine. I hope it's probably going to get left in the dust pretty soon with how unoptimized modern games are, but there's some games I do give credit to for their optimization, but my hardware is probably going to be pretty ass in about 4 or 5 years. And not to mention, with Windows 10 support, I will not be able, like, keep in mind, my PC does not natively support Windows 11. My motherboard does not have a TPM 2.0 chip, so I have no choice but to run 10. I don't want to run 11 as my main OS, because recently, with updates getting put into it, it's blocking the thing you could do for TPM bypass now. So even if I wanted to use 11, it would not be a feasible option for me, because I don't know if I would be getting security updates for it. And, with the hardware I have, it's fucking preposterous that just because I don't have a little fucking thing installed onto my motherboard that I would have to, pay. I would have to buy a whole new board just to run Windows 11. It's not worth it because the quality of the OS is actual fucking shit. So here's one thing I wanted to bring up. So when I talk about operating systems, let me go to OS market share real quick because I wanted to give you guys the data for OS market share. So the topic of this video is you should switch to Linux. Now, I am a firm believer that I think this is the best time to switch over because right now, as I make this video, the desktop experience is at its all-time best right now. So I installed Mint, and my biggest pet peeve with Linux is that the desktop experience would not be good due to bad NVIDIA drivers. Now, this issue is not prevalent on AMD GPUs almost at all because they work on Wayland natively. X11 runs horribly on almost every GPU, but with the latest NVIDIA drivers, not only can you use Wayland pretty good, but X11 runs a whole lot better now, which means I'm able to get a premium desktop experience now that I was not getting a few years back. So it's become a lot more feasible for me in the last, I would say, 8 months than it has ever, because I can now get a good desktop experience. But I just wanted to show you guys real quick. So, not Windows. Why wouldn't I just go to desktop? What the fuck? iOS, Linux, that's Android. This is not... Is this? Oh, what? Hang on, I'll be right back. Alright, here's the graph that I've been trying to find. This is the desktop market share in 2024. So as you can see right now, Linux is at its all-time high at 4% market share. Now, this is honestly when I have seen the most performance patches come when it has hit 4%. A lot of things have been getting fixed over, and that is because it's becoming a more popular operating system. Most games that have came out within the past 8 months run amazing under Proton. Helldivers, BattleBit, The Finals, all these good games that have came out run amazing under Proton. Even in some cases, for me, better than they would on Windows 10. And that's a other great thing for me too. Vulkan runs better on older hardware, which means in most games, I'm able to get better performance on Windows. Now, I just want you guys to take that into mind, that a Windows 11 license key is around $100. So, I could have been paying for a OS that gives me worse performance, spies on me, takes all my data, makes my PC more prone to malware, and has built-in AI into my PC that can do whatever the fuck it wants to do to my computer. And I can get this glorious OS that doesn't do any of those things and provides better experience for free. I mean, that's honestly my hugest, that's why I give this OS so much props, is because it's like, in general, Linux will outperform every single PC it is on. If all you do is browse the web, now here's the thing with most computers. Most computers are a gateway to a web browser. Most people, you could fucking install any OS you pleased on their PC, and if you themed it to look like Windows 10 or Windows 11, I guarantee you they would not figure out for a few weeks that they are using a completely different operating system, because people don't really bother to check. Now, the thing is, I would not recommend it to people, or back in the past, I would not recommend it to people because it was harder to set up. Like back then, Ubuntu was hard to set up, everything like that. But I want to give you guys some stories. I'm kind of like the IT person in my family. I'm just really good with computers, so I help my family with things with printers, tablets, things like that. And in the past 3 months, I have installed Mint on 3 of my family's PCs: my grandma's, my uncle's, and my cousins, because they were all complaining about horrible performance on their PC. Now, my cousin, I built him a PC. He has a 1050 Ti, and I believe an i7 7700K, if I remember correctly. I built him the PC 3 years back, so I should know. But, it's not that great of a PC. We play GTA 5 from time to time. It's a good rig for playing games that, that we play. We play Apex, Fortnite, GTA, so the 1050 Ti can still handle those games pretty well. I'm probably going to have to upgrade his GPU pretty soon, but it's been working on, for the most part, pretty well over the last 5 years. And Windows 10 is, or from what he was experiencing, I went over to his house, and I experienced what he was experiencing. The OS just became so slow. Now I thought, okay, maybe he just needs to reinstall it, because that will happen over time. Every 8 months, you should aim to reinstall your operating system just because of bloat, everything like that. So I reinstalled his OS. The performance was still bad. So Windows 10 got so demanding to the point where it couldn't even run on his hardware, which could play games perfectly fine still. And his performance was going down too. He was averaging around 120 in GTA. That went down to 85. and his whole computer was just slow. So I thought there was some hardware issue because of how slow it was running. But I popped Mint on his PC. It saved his experience. His FPS, even with Proton, went back up to 120 on GTA 5. And he's having the best computing experience he has had in a long time. The same thing goes for my grandma. All she does is watch Hulu all day, and I installed Mint on her PC. She was very hesitant at first, but I wanted to get her on Mint because Windows 10 is ending support in 2025. And you fucking guessed it, her $900 laptop that she purchased in 2017 doesn't fucking support Windows 11, which is completely preposterous to me that you can drop one band on a PC 5 years ago and it can't even run the latest Microsoft operating system. That is honestly why it's a fucking scam in my opinion, because Microsoft can just take your access away. Like if you paid for Windows 11, you're not guaranteed to have it anymore. And that was kind of the case for people as well. You know, their computers have Windows 10, they're not going to be in support anymore. They're going to have no choice but to switch to Linux, because even if they use TPM bypass for 11, they have no guarantee that they're going to get security updates. I tried it on my PC. I was having that bug to where, or I can't necessarily, I was having it, but you know, like if you did research on it, they were blocking people with unsupported, you know, like TPMs, things like that. They weren't getting updates. So I can't even run 11. And that goes with, like, my cousin's PC also doesn't support Windows 11. My whole family cannot run Windows 11. I've almost converted my whole family over to Mint. All I have now is my dad and my mom, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be converting them over in the next month. So I might be the solo hand reason it goes up to 4.4, but I digress. So, but that's honestly just the experience with it, is that it is easier, in my opinion. I wouldn't even say my opinion, I would just say fucking factually, it has to be easier to install Mint than it is Windows 11. When you install Mint, it will ask for your name, what hard drive you want to delete and install Mint on. It'll ask you where you live, and boom, you're good to go with an amazing web browser in Firefox and an app store to install all your apps. I guarantee you that if Mint was shipped with PCs, I guarantee you that it would overtake Windows. And here's the thing, like, I know so many spurgs who defend Windows 10 and 11, like, upgrade your PC, things like that, you know, like, just fucking spurgs, like, weird human beings. They don't understand that if Microsoft has competition with Linux, it's gonna make Microsoft a better operating system too. If there's competition, that's when products are gonna thrive on both ends as well. Alright, if we look at AI, okay, ChatGPT-4 has been stinking it the fuck up the past 3 months. It's been a horrible quality AI, but guess what? They still have the more powerful AI on the market. Claude 3 Opus just came out, and it is 10 times better than GPT-4 in almost every coherence test there is ever invented to fucking mankind. I guarantee you in the next 1 to 2 months, OpenAI is going to have fucking some new AI that can fucking make a bomb coder or some shit like that. Like, it's going to be like the best AI we've ever seen. And that's why I say competition in markets is healthy. It's healthy for everything because it keeps everything thriving. You're always getting the best version of something. And that is why Windows, in my opinion, or not necessarily my opinion, I feel like it's factual in a sense, is that I feel like that's why Windows has been so dog shit the past decade, is because Microsoft knows that they're not going to lose jack fucking shit in their market share. Okay, it's too far developed for 72% of people to either switch over to Mac or switch over to Linux. Now, I would like to think that hopefully by the end of 2024 that we are up to 5% desktop market share. Because at that point, people are going to start making native programs, native games, things like that. We're already at the point to where most, if not all, newer games coming out work flawlessly on Proton. Because guess what? That opens up a whole new audience to people on the Steam Deck. Most people who own a Steam Deck, I would say probably half of them don't even know the fundamentals of what the Steam Deck runs. They don't leave the Steam Deck mode to browse the web or anything like that. Most of them just download their games and they play them. They don't even know it's running Arch. Not Arch, I'm dumb. They don't even know it's running SteamOS. They think for all the fuck they know it could be running a beta version of Windows 12 or some shit. People don't know and they don't care. And that's my thing too. If you installed Mint on more PCs, more people would adapt to Linux, in my opinion, because of how easier it is than Windows. With Windows 11, and I failed to go into this before after I compared it with the installation of Mint. With 11, you have to create a Microsoft account, do this, yada yada, blah blah blah, fuck all. You have to accept their spyware terms. Then you have to wait another 10. You have to wait a long ass time for it to install updates, things like that. It takes half the time to install Mint than it does 11. And that's honestly so fucking ironic to me that a team of like 25 people is able to make a much better quality product than a $1 trillion fucking company. You know what? I don't know how much Microsoft's worth. I would imagine it's a trillion. No, I'm just gonna fact check. I'm gonna fact check myself real quick. Hang on, okay, let me Google this. How much is Microsoft worth? Okay, $3.1 trillion. Okay, that's even worse than I fucking thought. $3.1 trillion. And they're not able to make a good computing desktop experience. But a group of 20 developers, 25 to 30 developers, are able to make a fucking amazing operating system. That's what I say. There's never been a better time to get into it because most people's computers don't support Windows 11 right now. I would probably say that if 50 to 60% of people who have a computer right now, it can't run 11 because of these preposterous security requirements. And that's what I'm saying. Linux will expand the life of that laptop by at least another 10 years. If you have like 16 gigs of RAM and like a somewhat decent i5, you're going to be browsing the web until fucking Donald Trump dies. Like, it is going to be completely usable for a long time. But Microsoft just wants to make it seem like it's not going to. But even for me now, Mint has become better than Windows. Now, I'm still going to keep Windows 7 installed because I like being involved with the community, but I can now play all my games comfortably on this OS without needing Windows 10 for fuck all. And I'm so glad I was finally able to break free from Microsoft's monopoly. But I will still keep 7 because, you know, it's a good OS to tinker with. I like being involved with helping people and making patch software. So I'm going to continue to run that OS on my second hard drive. But Mint is probably going to be my main OS from now on. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.